This pop filter's on here because I'm still recording my audiobooks. So I thought I'd just make that clear at the moment. It won't always be there because I find it quite irritating. This video is more focused on my spiritual growth, part of my spiritual journey, because I recognize a lot of my content, self-healing, self-development, self-care, overcoming trauma, adversities, and a healing journey. But some of it as well is spiritual, so it's blending that. Some people may be offended by a spiritual journey, and I don't like to push it on people. So let's make it clear early on. So I'm noticing an energy shift in me. I'm also getting an awful lot of signs of sort of the growth, what's coming next, the closing of a cycle, a huge transformation, a rebirth due to happen. And I feel that in myself anyway. These are just confirmations. I talk about this a lot. I have intense intuition. I sort of know innately what's coming, what I'm doing, what I need to do. I don't doubt it. And it often shocks people how I'm in a line I am. Like maybe they have a different opinion, but then they see that it's actually what I was supposed to be doing. I've been getting some like heart palpitations lately, especially when in like rest mode, and I'm thinking, Jesus, if you weren't on a spiritual journey, you might be worried. But I'm aware that my energy is shifting, so that means there's going to be shifts in your body. Eventually, maybe you look younger, maybe you're glowing a bit. It's just a shift in your energy, your higher vibration. If you think about it in general, if you're like a low vibrational, you're maybe depressed all the time, you're stressed all the time, you have like a self worth. You're going to reflect that. Your inside, you're going to reflect on the outside. So you're going to look drained, miserable, exhausted. You're going to look that way. If you're high vibrational and you're doing well for yourself, you have confidence, you're glowing, you're going to radiate on the outside. Your aura is going to improve, and people can deny certain things, but you can't change the presentation of someone, and I think I think that's a good barometer of growth as well. If you go back through someone's content even a year ago, 6 months ago, whatever, and then you look at them now, you'd say the quality's changed, but what's really changed? And it's the aura, it's the energy, it's the way they present themselves. But it's like a natural shift. So in my life, I feel a real urge it's closing a cycle. I've talked about it before where I've sold a lot of my computer equipment, my gaming setup. I feel a huge pull towards traveling. And often with me, there's a reason I'm pulling towards something, almost like that's what's coming. It's like I'm being shifted. My mindset's being evolved and shifted to be like in a different timeline now. I got a bit frustrated recently. I was like thinking to myself, I'm done with this timeline now. I'm finished. It's like there's nothing else for me here. I've learned everything I need to do in this life. In this life I have at the moment, it's just limited at this point. I'm just repeating cycles. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm stuck on a hamster wheel at the minute, and it's like I'm done with the lessons here because I can. It's easy. It's like even sort of the projects I do. For me, it's too easy now. It's like there's no challenge in it. Once there's no challenge in it, it gets a bit irritating to me because it's like there's no development here. It's like I can do this video content the way I do, and I can create thousands of videos like this. I already know how to do it. I can do book after book after book after book, but it's like I'm already doing that. I can do it. It's not a challenge anymore. I always said in the past that I'd like to do traveling, maybe document that a little bit. But recently I've been getting content saying that you're going to be traveling a lot soon. Your finances are going to improve dramatically. You're going to be in the spotlight. There's things are going to happen. Your life is going to transform. Effectively, you're stepping into the timeline you was always destined to have. So some people will be jealous. They'll think it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. But it's all destiny, It's what you came here to do. Some of us go through a world of hell to learn from those experiences. It humbles us, but it teaches us, Effectively, you're put in situations that others have been through to help those others climb out of it, really. Almost be like a light. But I have weird things happen in my life that you couldn't even sort of like plan. You couldn't plan it. I had someone back in July, a tarot reader, who I kept in contact even after I left TikTok. So I was away for a year. And they mentioned about they had visions of me doing public speaking. They also had a image of a lighthouse. And as they got closer to this lighthouse, because people were flocking towards this lighthouse, as they got closer to the lighthouse, that was me. I was a guiding light for people. And I thought that was nice. And that's when she had the vision of me doing public speaking. So imagine my surprise the next day, literally the next day, I had a professional public speaking coach follow me on LinkedIn. Didn't know each other. I don't know how they found me. We had like a brief couple of messages, but it was nothing too deep and nothing really like committal. I just do my own thing, But I see their content regularly. they do a podcast, and they've done public speaking coaching for people like, I think, Joaquin Phoenix and Kate Winslet and all those sort of things. And they have their own platform, own show. Um, so they're a big deal. I think they're based in New York. So I mean, just saying, timing wise, mad. Then I had videos yesterday, a lot of videos pointing towards travel. Again, also wealth and money, a lot of money coming, um, and the travel. And the part that I enjoyed about that, I don't get obsessed by the money. It's more the freedom of it, the time. Because I'm enjoying my freedom of time now, but I'm struggling really deeply with money. It's like a crisis. So it'd be really nice if I was elevated out of that, where I can still be free, because I really want to travel more. And I think, like I talk often, we're all stuck in this like hamster wheel of having to sort of like grind so hard just to survive, and it's like a really terrible existence. So imagine my surprise that someone yesterday checked out my profile on LinkedIn. I thought, who's this? I had a little doubt. I went a bit of detective mode slightly. And now a video I had yesterday was something about Singapore, and I was like, I've never thought about Asia in all honesty, as my focus is here and I'm doing other things. But I thought, you never know. You never know where opportunity comes. So that's Singapore, but it turned out someone from Malaysia had just checked out my profile. I don't. That's a rare thing to happen to me. It's the timing of it all, I get these sequence of events that like I said, you couldn't even plan it. I didn't expect to see anything about Singapore, let alone someone from Malaysia checking my profile out so quickly after. So a lot of things actually happen with the moon cycles. A lot of people don't think there's anything to do with any of that because they're not spiritual, and you can go too far in it, and it can seem rather strange. And I get it. Once you've lived it though, and you've experienced it, you can't deny knowledge. You just can't. It becomes wisdom. I've had other gifted people who just don't get it, and they haven't received. I think because if you haven't experienced it, it's just hard to fathom it. It can seem far fetched. I have number patterns all the time in my life, and everything's come true up to this day. Everything's come true, and I sort of understand time frames now. When I see this event, when that happens, follow this, and I already have my intuition anyway. But one thing I noticed is a lot of things happen to me in months of three. That became something apparent. I was like, that's weird. So every 3 months, something significant happens. There's a change or something occurs. It's really interesting. So it's worth opening your mind, really. It's not a case of just listen to me and take on board what I'm saying, but sort of reflect in your own life, recognize these things, have a little look. What happened to you 3 months ago? What happened to you 3 months before that? So we can close it off. We can block things. There was a time when I relocated home, and that took 4 months because there was someone interfering, they were altering the way I was behaving. So that knocked it off a little bit, delayed a manifestation, if you like. But I've also noticed the moon cycles, and once I switched to that, I was like, whoa. Now, you see videos of people talk about certain things, but it wasn't through that. It was literally my own experience. I was like, this is weird. Every time there's a new moon or there's a certain significant thing, like an eclipse, it's almost like that's the time when, en masse, blessings occur. So if you're really in alignment for the blessing, it's your turn to upgrade. It's your turn to level up. It's your turn for this new experience. And I had signs last year that February, March are very pivotal to my growth, to my journey. There'll be an opportunity, there'll be a change, there'll be something happening significant in that period. Realignment, if you like. Effectively, it's just like being rewarded, and sometimes we get put in positions where it's not fair, and you feel like you're being held back, and you're sort of like pushing against it, thinking this is ridiculous. I've learnt my lessons, but there's still like a time of finding yourself, because it's important that we don't put the weight of sort of our expectation on attached to someone else. It has to be from self, So when we receive something, we're confident and stable within that. We're not just like frivolously giving it away. And that's what it's really been about. And I've already done a body of work, I've got 5 books out at this point. I've done an awful lot of videos. I haven't seen the benefits of any of that, but I still do it because I'm passionate about it. So if anything, if I was being tested on my commitment, even when you don't see success, that's a test I've passed because I'm relentless. I still keep doing it. It means too much to me, But yeah, I just feel that this year now, from this point on, there's going to be a huge emphasis on travel, having new experiences, potentially meeting people. And I'm noticing I'm speaking a lot more. I'm doing all this in the camera. I mean, I've always done it before, but it was all on and off. It wasn't a priority. Now I'm making it more of a priority. I feel a calling to do it. It stands front and center, Like I say, I've said so many times, I really don't care about people if they try and criticize or they try and say this, because there's always people out there that want to cause trouble, For me personally, I tell my story, I share my experiences, and then people can do what they want.